So good morning to our virtual and in-person audience here in Coventry and to our leading experts that are speaking here today. My name is Nicole Small and I am part of Element's MedTech team for the EMEA region. And I'm pleased to be the first to be speaking here at our conference today. It's great to see some very familiar faces and names as well as some new ones, and we all look forward to developing relationships throughout the day and beyond. Bench to Bedside is Element's first MedTech conference, and it forms part of Element's Global MedTech Academy to provide education and navigational tools to support you to gain market access and to develop your knowledge and skills. Our aim is to put an expert by your side to proactively support access to safer MedTech. So when you look at the regulatory challenge this industry faces, hurdle, whatever, you look at these numbers, one takeaway from today in the field of MedTech, change is the only constant. New and changing regulations, guidelines and standards to be aware of and to comply with. So this conference has placed a great time of change and uncertainty as well as opportunities for the MedTech sector. So today our agenda is split into 4 sessions addressing a number of significant topics facing the industry at different technical readiness levels or throughout the product life cycle. We have leading experts in their field within Element and within other organisations, and 2 refreshment breaks throughout the day. So before we start, I'd like to cover a couple of housekeeping matters. So for those here in Coventry, we do have a fire alarm test at about 10:40 this morning. It should last about 2 to 3 seconds. In the unfortunate event of a fire, there will be wardens to assist us in the evacuation. And for those here in Coventry, we'll need to exit out through the reception here, go to the car park by the barrier, and that's the assembly point. Could I ask everybody to silence their mobile phones if they haven't done so already? And just to remind you, this event is being recorded as per the registration details. Facilities here in Coventry are next to the staircase here on the ground floor, as well as you can exit here at the back of the theatre on the first floor. And could I ask, if you do need to use the facilities during a speaker event, could you go and exit at the back wherever possible? Do visit our small exhibition space. You can network with our speakers here today, as well as other organisations. But equally, we've also got a number of talented people from across Element that you can speak to, and they are subject matter experts. But could I ask, for those here in Coventry and at home or in your offices, that you do return promptly? We don't want you to miss out on the speaker event. So if you haven't done so already, do download the Slido app or go to slido.com and put in the MedTech code. We would really appreciate it if you wish to submit questions or comments anonymously. If you choose, you can, and others can comment or like others' comments and questions and put it at higher priority. Do participate in our speaker polls. We really appreciate your engagement throughout the day, and there is a post-event feedback for you to complete at the end of the day too. Tell us of any technical issues if you can't hear us or see us as well. And we also today, excuse me, will look to address a number of comments and questions during the event, and I'm really grateful for those who have submitted questions on registration. We have uploaded them to Slido. We also aim to publish event information, including responses we've not had time to respond to at this event. So, I now have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker to formally open this conference. Mark Heaven is Vice President of Aerospace and Defence in the EMEA region. He has a background in wireless and electromagnetic compatibility with over 30 years in the testing, inspection and certification sector, setting up or developing leading product qualification test laboratories and international certification models. He joined Element in 2015 and led the connected technologies testing facilities in China, United States and Europe. In the past 14 months, Mark has been supporting the MedTech team to expand Element's service offering in medical products, to become a global end-to-end medical technology assurance partner in a complex and highly regulated end market. Please welcome Mark Heaven.
Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to attend this event. I'm sure you're going to find it really positive, stimulating, and thought-provoking. Let me thank the MedTech team, first of all, for asking me to give the keynote address here today. I first started talking to the MedTech team in the form of James Pink about 14 months ago when we started working together. And one of the things that James talked about was patient outcomes. We didn't really talk about testing and regulatory environments and the kind of getting product to market. We talked about patient outcomes. And what does that mean to us, me and you in this room? It means that if we can get your technology onto the market in a speedy, safe, and matching the regulatory environments, then people benefit from that. And that's a huge thing to have available to us as a group in this room, that we can impact patient outcomes. That's what today is about. It's trying to understand how we go from your environments in R&D technology to being able to impact someone's health. And I can give you a kind of personal story around that. When the coronavirus first came to our shores, things were difficult. I have an aging mother who was considered as vulnerable. And so they talked about oxygen levels in the blood, and they talked about heart rates, and they talked about lung function and so on. So the first thing I did was to think about how I can help her decide whether or not she needed medical assistance. And to get oximetry, blood oxygen levels, to get a heart rate, and to get a pulse, I didn't go to a big high-end MedTech company. I just went to Amazon and bought something that she could wear on her wrist, that I could connect into her Wi-Fi system and to my phone, and it measured all of those parameters during that process, so that I could tell, she could tell, whether or not certain vital statistics that were vital signs that were appropriate to managing that situation around coronavirus were going to cause a problem. It cost me £100, and it told the time as well. So that is kind of a patient outcome around convergent technology in terms of getting people's outcomes fitter for purpose than perhaps we should do. And being able to effectively and efficiently get that to market is why we're here today. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Element, who we are. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what our vision is for the future, and then we'll open up into a session for Q&A. So who are we? So we're a global provider of testing services. We operate in a wide variety of global environments, and we offer a huge range of testing services. And our aim is effectively making sure that something is fit for purpose, safe to use, and can go to market in a way that is predictable against regulatory requirements. We've been in that business as Element for nearly 12 years, and prior to that as various locations before we came together. Our global coverage is quite extensive, but we operate mostly within Europe and within the European Union. Effectively, we carry you from materials testing, product testing, certifying products, advisory services and calibration across a wide range of end markets. And the one to talk about today is the MedTech business, but we do this in a huge range of businesses, including predominantly in the aerospace sector and in the life sciences sector. So we do pharmaceutical as well as MedTech, and we are again just following that same process of, can we prove that your products are fit for purpose, safe to use, and can we get them to market in a time that impacts a patient outcome? Effectively, making tomorrow safer than today is the tagline that we've chosen to work with over the last few years, and I think that really does sum up why we as Element exist. It's effectively helping customers develop better products, safer products, and making sure that those products and materials are fit for purpose, that they don't fail in service, that they don't cause issues around product recall. And we do that by producing reliability and repeatability in the services that we offer. We're effectively helping a transition from an R&D to a full-blown product that stays in service for as long as required, doesn't fail, doesn't cause problems. And I'm sure you can think, if we talk about just the MedTech business generally, having a product fail in service isn't an ideal solution, and that's why the regulatory landscape is so prescriptive in terms of how we get things to a patient. That's what Element is good at. That's what we do, and that's why we perform a partnership with our customers who are getting their products to market in that safe way. So we've been evolving over the last 12, 13 years through a number of acquisitions and ownership. We're currently owned by the Singaporean sovereign investor Temasek. That gives us a lot of scope to be able to invest alongside our customers, alongside our clients, and also to keep ahead of technology to make sure that we stay relevant to you and your technologies as you address that, as you address the landscape that you're operating in. So we are effectively today 230 facilities in 30 countries. We have over 55,000 customers, and we employ ever increasing amounts with our acquisition portfolio, but effectively over 8,000 employees across the globe. Majority of those are engineers and are technically led solutions providers, either in a testing environment or an advisory environment. And we have a number of drivers for our business that I'll share with you as we go through, but effectively, in terms of the customers who we work for in this sector, those are names that you'll all be familiar with in some respects or other. Some of them into environments and end markets that you're not connected with, and some of them that are. But it's a very good indicator of the trust that we build with our customers to be able to deliver products that are safer tomorrow than today, because we are effectively able to build and expand our capabilities and portfolios around them, and never more so within the MedTech sector, where, as you say, regulatory environments mean that we cannot, there is no margin for error in being able to take a product to the market. Element also drives itself in a number of other ways that I think you will find resonating within the companies that you work for. We effectively are interested more and more in a number of aspects about our environmental footprint, and also helping our customers' environmental footprints. We've got an ambition to have a net zero emissions by 2030, which is a journey that we've started and are starting to move towards in a number of different ways, and that can be around swapping our fleets to electric vehicles, that can be around, in some of our more sunnier locations, solar panels, that can be around water quality, it can be around a number of things that we're starting to push to match up with our customers. Having facilities and sites that are close to where our customers' manufacturing bases are cuts down on transportation, cuts down on the need to be able to move and shift products over large areas, again impacting our environmental footprint. So we're very passionate about that. We drive that a lot within our test facilities, and we drive that a lot within our agendas when we talk within the environments that we exist. People. We've got a very, very driven approach to talent acquisition. If we're going to provide services to people like you, then we need to have a technical team that can deliver those solutions and be able to manage the applications and help you get your your products to market. So talent attraction, talent retention is something we work hard with, as we do with diversity and inclusion. Having a diverse workforce, a balanced gender workforce, a balanced ethnic workforce makes us a much better company. It brings people into our business who add to that talent and provide you with the solutions that you're looking for. So again, a very positive approach to how we manage ourselves in terms of the diversity, equity, inclusion piece. And community, we've also started to look around our facilities and the environment that we work in and give back to those communities. So we allow a number of volunteering hours per head across all of our facilities globally, so that people can step out and give back to their communities that they are working within, which again I think builds that positivity around a business that is here to build trust, not just with our customers, but with the environments that we work within. And then of course, as you would expect from a company like Element, we are driven hugely by health and safety aspects to our business. We started this morning with a conversation about fire exits, fire alarms. All of our meetings, every single meeting, starts with a safety moment in all of the facilities in Element, to make sure that we're providing an environment that's healthy and safe for our customers to come into and of course for our colleagues to work in. We're very passionate about your data. We understand that some of the cutting edge stuff that you work on and bring from bench to bedside, as we've said, is important to you and no one else. So we protect that very strongly. We have a very clear approach to data centers and cybersecurity, and we work tirelessly to make sure that we don't get hacked or breaches in our security that would cause problems to you and to us. Governance and ethics, of course, is extremely important. I've talked about trust, and that's a big part of this. If you can't trust us, or we can't trust you, then we don't have a business relationship that's going to get very far. So we're very, very focused on our governance and ethics across the business. So hopefully, when you look at that, combining some of the targets, we're looking for 25,000 hours of volunteer work. We'll talk a little about that. Women in leadership for us is a big drive, and we're doing very well in bringing much more female talent into the business now by approaching the market slightly differently than we did before. Hopefully that resonates with your businesses, the businesses that you work for, that we are the kind of, that the partnership with Element is on a number of levels, not just impacting patient outcomes in the MedTech sector, but also working with a company that is devoted to the things that you and your companies are passionate about. So what's our vision for the future? We do have to look to the future an awful lot. When you're servicing customers who are in the R&D phases and with innovation and bringing forward products to markets, then we do need to be into the future. And we have a number of technical experts that work with us who keep us there. They sit on panels, they sit in committees, they sit in a number of environments that make sure that we've got front foot capacity within our business to be able to share what's coming up with you. So benchtop to bedside is the familiar term that we're using today, and I think I've kind of given you my take on what that means in terms of really making sure that to the right hand side of the slide that we're getting your technologies to patients in a way that impacts their outcome and their recoverability from whatever they may have. What hinders that? Well, long regulatory timelines. There is a backlog in most regulatory systems around MedTech devices, which of course slows the process up and regrettably impacts patient outcomes. So obtaining regulatory approval can take 18 months, which is staggering when you think about what the impact of that could be with certain technologies coming to market sooner. But they have to come into market safely. They have to come to market in a way that they've been proven through various means to be able to achieve what we've and what you have set out to achieve. The cost of compliance is ever increasing. It becomes something that is, excuse me, more difficult for you to evaluate as the landscape changes, regulatory conditions change, and the cost of getting through notified bodies and assessment bodies is increasing. We put a figure up there of £500,000. In some cases, it's way beyond that, depending on clinical trials and whether or not the type of product you've got needs to pass through those environments. But that's another issue that a challenge or something that we have to overcome. So what does that mean? There's a reduction in the products that come to market. Over the next 2 to 3 years, the Element MedTech team recognise probably a 20% reduction. And that's not great, is it, really, when we think about the impact that some of these things, these devices, this technology is going to have. So we're working very closely with regulatory bodies. We're working within our own environment to try and establish ways of making sure that this is done efficiently, because an 18-month lead time to bring some form of innovation to the market, which could impact someone's well-being, is too long. And so that's a passion for the Element MedTech team, is to help overcome some of these challenges. So to do that, we have a broad range of services which we are available through a number of different channels, and that's not just around testing, but it's around advice. It's about understanding certifications around accreditations like 13485 within an environment to make sure that production standards and so on are up to scratch. What we're hoping to do with this fairly broad portfolio of very, very sophisticated services is reduce that time to market, which is key for us, key for you, and reduce that cost. If we can set up a more open environment where we talk to you early on in your development stages, we advise you, we prepare regulatory bodies to expect your devices to come through the systems, we help you build those technical files, we help you push through those safety barriers that you'll need to pass to make sure your product is safe and fit for purpose, that we can do both of those things, speed things up and reduce the cost of compliance. And that helps reduce the risk to the final outcomes. So hopefully, just keeping to time, that's given you an insight into Element's MedTech business and our ambition to help drive more and better innovative medical products into end markets to help patients who need those, will require as much of the attention from these type of devices that they will from clinicians and so forth. It isn't possible to build enough hospitals to accommodate what's coming into Europe and the rest of the world in terms of medical healthcare. MedTech is going to play a huge part in helping patients to stay healthy and fit and make recoveries by not attending hospitals in great numbers, as has been the terms in the past. It's just not possible anymore. So MedTech is something that we're all looking towards to help solve our problems, our medical issues as we go forward, and will become a much more important part of our lives. That's why you're here today, and hopefully you'll get some benefit from listening to what is a very, very informative set of presentations today. So, any questions that I can help you with today? Okay, so I think
maybe leave
we'll probably leave these. Yeah, I could attempt to answer number 3, but yeah, we'll probably leave those to as we go through. Anything that I can clarify or help with throughout the day, please let me know. One of the things that, just to make life a bit easier, we're wearing white lanyards, then we're the people who can help you and give you some advice. And I hope you can network amongst yourselves in the blue lanyards as well, because I'm sure there are things that you can share as companies. So, with no questions that I can actually answer, I think it was a good time now to, first of all, remind you to connect into Slido and make sure that you've got access to those questions, which we will address later on. But in the meantime, I should hand over to Michael Kipping, who is going to take the first session as he stumbles down. So, thank you for your time, Michael.